KOMP 92.3, where Vegas rocks. It's Sylvia, and today I have Shavo Odadjian of System of a Down, and of course, from his new band, 7 Hours After Violet, that we'll be talking about in just a little bit, but Shavo is here.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. I'm super stoked to have you here. I'm such a fan. So
Thank you.
We were talking off mic, and we were talking about your name, how it's either Shavo or Chavo.
Chavo de Ocho. Yeah, I grew up with a lot of Latinos and Latinas in Hollywood, you know?
Yep.
So everyone called me Chav.
Chavo del Ocho.
Well, Chavo became a thing because of the show Chavo de Ocho, you know, and I used to watch it as a kid.
Yep.
So
did you have subtitles on that?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So you just understood in Spanish?
I didn't understand it. I just loved it. I just kind of, I got, like, just, you know, when you, as a kid, it's interesting. It's like one of those fun things to watch.
It was a pretty trippy
I have no idea what they said.
Yeah. It's a pretty trippy show because, like, you have these adults that are acting like kids. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There was, like, he played two characters. He played that B guy.
Yeah,
and then he played El Chavo.
El Chavo del Ocho, yeah. Chilindrina was
there
my
you go.
favorite.
He used to say some...
Well, the Chilindrina was a girl.
No, I'm saying the B guy, the guy that
I can't remember
Chavo dude,
yeah.
He used to say this like catchphrase. And I used to know the catchphrase. I don't remember it anymore.
Oh, you're going to kill me. I know.
You know, with the hammer? He had the big hammer. Yeah.
I can't remember for the life of me. But
it was just, it's a big part of my childhood. And it's just because where I grew up, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But I didn't understand what they were saying. But it was still cool as hell.
Oh, I thought you did it. We're like, dang.
No,
you're what, trilingual? English, Armenian, Spanish, maybe?
I know English and Armenian.
Okay.
I know Spanish. I know, like, just from being around a lot of Latinos and Latinas.
Like you'll speak Spanish what you think is Spanish, right?
Yes. Well, I have a lot of, like, I don't want
to. Because
I sometimes pretend that that I know what I'm doing. But
if you were...
Capisos.
Like, if you
but
were...
that's not Spanish, right? It just sounds like it is. There's this song out from Italy. Have you heard that song? So in Italy, I think it was the 70s. I don't know what era it was. This artist wrote a song in gibberish that sounded like he was singing in English.
Yes.
Have you heard that thing? That's a great beat. It's an amazing beat, but he's like, and he's just like doing this whole thing.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I cannot think of the
name.
But
I could do that in Spanish.
Yes. So like what you just...
I could speak Spanish gibberish.
Yeah.
But I could do it.
But if you're not paying attention...
You might, if you don't know Spanish and you hear it, you'd think the guy who was speaking Spanish.
Yeah, I would think you're speaking Spanish. You're just like kind of mumbling. And
mumbling
you're
speaking, little like accent.
And I'm like,
because I could do the accent really well because I grew up around it. That's the kind of like, it's just a part of me.
For sure, yeah. Like even now I can kind of hear it. And we talked about it.
Hey, how you doing? Capacitos. Chapatotos. Everyone's like, what's he saying?
As I'm saying, like if no one knew Spanish, they'd be like, wow, Chavo's...
Well, like I told you before, like 75% of my friends were Latino and Latina.
You got to pick up something from that, you know?
Yeah.
But welcome back to Vegas.
It's so good to be back. This is my second home.
Oh, awesome. So you were here for Sick New World. Did you find yourself going to places in town, like places that you cannot miss?
No, I mean... I pretty much stay at the hotel and kind of enjoy myself. I mean, I'll do some of the restaurant. I love restaurants. I love food.
Are you like a foodie?
I'm a foodie, so we do the food thing,
sure.
You know. And I love the spas here now. It's a different life than before. When I was young and single, it was a different Vegas.
Yeah, like dang, like
and now it's
I like foodie. Like I'm a foodie. I like the
now
spas.
It's that. Well, I had to do that now. You know, like that's what I could do. I'm married with kids, and I enjoy that. I really take advantage of.
Well, congratulations.
The clean life, yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's good. But speaking of New World, it was actually my first time seeing you guys.
Oh, wow. Because this last one or the first one?
The first one.
Oh, yeah.
That was like my first time seeing you guys.
That was so fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, you guys were here with Gogo Bordello years ago.
Yes.
And I was like, I cannot miss them because I love Gogo Bordello.
Was that at T-Mobile, I think?
No, that was at the Pearl, at the Palms.
That's a while back.
It was a long time ago. So
we used to play Vegas a lot. Like, we used to play the Joint. We used to do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So, like, I missed that show because System of a Down, Gogo Bordello, one of my top favorite bands. Like, I cannot miss this show. I missed it.
You missed it.
And then there was one with, I think it was System of a Down, Korn and Gojira. And that one's the one that you were talking about, T-Mobile.
Yeah.
Yes.
How great is Gojira, by the way? We all know Korn is
freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Freaking phenomenal.
I love them.
And I love how they put metal and rock on the map when they did the Olympics.
Yes, that was great. That really made a dent in our genre.
Oh, for sure. I think it got a lot of people curious.
And they deserved the Grammy.
Yeah, I think they got a lot of people curious about rock.
They deserved the Grammy. They were the ones that I thought should have won, and they won. And finally, the deserving artist won.
Yeah. But like I missed that show. So when Sick New World came around, I was like, I cannot miss this show. I didn't. I grabbed myself a little spot to see you guys, and it was incredible seeing you live.
Hell yeah.
It was so much fun.
Thank you.
And of course, like this was right around the time that nu metal was and still is having a resurgence. So like what was it like performing at this festival? Now there's kids that were probably not even born when like Hypnotize or Mesmerize were released. So like what was that like for you?
It's like that now playing everywhere. We've realized our fan base isn't just like a bunch of people from back then that are grown up. It's their kids too. And the kids are digging it the way our audience age group hasn't changed. It's just gotten wider. So we now have the elders who were youngins before, and now we have the youngins of today just amped on it as well because they dig the music, and we're blessed for that, that our music became timeless.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. I mean, I'm like I said, there's no words I can, it's just I feel really grateful.
That's
for that,
awesome. And the fans are craving more music from System of a Down, and I'm not. I know that you said something like you're not saying it's not going to happen, but you're not saying
I've always said that because there's no plans of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no plans of it, but I don't know.
So, if it were up to you. Not talking about anybody else in the band, but if it were up to you, would you have everybody in the band going into a studio and coming up with new music?
We would have had 10 albums by now.
Oh, okay.
If it was up to me. Every 2 years make an album. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
But things work out the way they need to work out. And I'm a firm believer in that. So everything happens for a reason. And we have this path that we took. And it wasn't done because it was planned. It was just, that's what happened.
Yeah. Do you feel like fans will ever get to hear material that was never released, or did we get everything that's
No,
out
you
there?
haven't gotten everything. We used to record a lot of songs and then pick out of those songs. I did the same thing with 7 Hours.
Yeah.
We just write a plethora of music and then pick the group of songs that work well together to make a record. It's not like the best songs. It's the ones that work well together.
Oh, okay.
Like I still have songs from 7 Hours that I think are really great. Maybe even, there's no better because they're all like your babies, so there's not one better than the other. It's just they don't fit together as well.
Yeah.
So there's some that I saved from the first sessions for the next album.
You're already like ahead of that.
Oh, we're gonna, yeah, for sure. I made 7 Hours because I wanted to make music again and I wanted to play live again as often as I wanted to.
Yeah. And you didn't have to wait.
I didn't have to wait.
Yeah.
So
going back to System, and this is something that I've always was curious. Like I think System of a Down is the only band I can think of that can make banana terracotta pie. Super cool.
Thank you.
And super aggressive.
It was strange at first, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's cool. We developed that kind of personality as a band that we can say and do anything. We can talk about the deepest and darkest of realities and then say some funny stuff that actually has some meaning, but you need to kind of step out of yourself and look in.
It's not just gibberish.
No, it's not gibberish. Nothing. Well, we do have some gibberish, I'll be honest. But I'm not going to mention which ones are gibberish because it's just, we love leaving things to interpretation, But yeah, we have some gibberish, but we have a lot of things that sound like gibberish, but they have a lot of meaning.
Yeah. So what do you think is like the secret to making a line like that fit in an album where there's maybe heavier themes?
It's like a soup or it's like a meal, It's like you put spices in there and it just makes the right taste that you enjoy personally.
Yeah.
Right? Because everyone has a different palate. So our palate accepted those things together. And that's what made a good record for us.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that there's a law or there's a rule of thumb and that's how, and we'll follow that. It just kind of happens that way.
It kind of just takes you.
It takes its own, I think, for example, songwriting is sometimes channeling. I'm a firm believer of that. It's not like I could speak for myself and not Darren or Serge or John, you know, because they all write music. And so for myself, I feel like I'm channeling stuff because I don't plan to write music.
Yeah.
I sit there and I grab a guitar and I'm strumming and stuff happens. And I need to record everything I strum nowadays because I've been very, I don't want to say artistic, but I've been, things have been coming out. Yeah, it's just, I've been fluid, musically, artistically fluid.
Yeah.
So I need to, because I don't write them down, so I have to record them. Because I've never really, even though I took classes for music theory and all that stuff, I don't practice it. I still do it from memory and vibe and feeling, you know.
I think that's the most organic way of like getting stuff out.
I agree.
You know,
it just, there's no rules. If you follow rules of theory, you can't do all the wacky stuff we've done. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not right. That's why sometimes they're looking back at songs like Toxicity and they're like, wow, it's such a, they're doing this measure with that time signature. And for me, it was a cool riff.
You're like, it just works, but I'm not following any rules.
I didn't know there was a time signature that went with that made it all crazy. And now like drum teachers are teaching it to the young, you know,
That's
new
crazy.
drummers, you know, yeah. Like the song Toxicity has become the most played drum thing out there.
How does that
see
make
it everywhere.
How does that make you feel?
It's insane.
You're
It's,
like,
you know,
oh my gosh.
no, it's you know, it's strange, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to step back and take it.
All
you know,
right.
and not think too much of it, though.
Yeah, the thinking is overrated.
Yeah,
I think.
No, it's just you keep going.
I'm talking to Shavo of System of a Down, of course, his new band 7 Hours After Violet, which, by the way, I love how 7 Hours After Violet came about. Like,
hell yeah, thank
I
you.
know that you're into numerology and angel numbers and all this stuff. Like 22, you said in an interview, is your number. Your cannabis brand is called 22 Red.
Correct.
You met your producer and rhythm guitar player, Morgoth Beatz, February 22nd, 2022.
Correct.
Which is wild.
Wild. I can't make that up. My boys, I have 3 kids. I have a 6-year-old daughter, 11-year-old, and 13-year-old sons. The sons are 2 years and 22 days apart. I'm not joking.
Nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
222. It's just kind of a thing. And I'm born April 22, which is 422, which is 2222.
Yeah.
And then I was married May 22nd, and that wasn't planned as much as you can think we planned it, because out of April, May, June, the one day that was available to do it was May 22nd. And dang. I said, are you kidding me? And it's a Saturday? Like, let's go. Fine. We'll go with it.
That's going to be a good marriage.
Yeah. And then I thought of 22 Red when I was 44.
Divided by 2, yeah.
And then when I was 22 years old is when our manager came and we went to the next level with System and we got picked up. Like I was 22 years old.
Okay, so 22 is just like a staple in your life.
Yeah, and
so
it was just a number I liked before, but then as I got older, just these monumental things happened with 22s behind it.
Yeah.
You know?
So like everything pointed to doing this project. Looking back on it, like, do you feel like there were just signs leading up to, you know, having 7 Hours After Violet?
I don't know. I met him unplanned. We spoke of getting together. He said he's a producer. I said, I've heard of him. And we exchanged numbers. You know, I was busy with 22 Red. It was a 22 Red party.
Oh, okay.
I did an interview on K-Rock in LA, and I invited because the party was after that. We were doing a little 22 party, you know, because it was 2. It was the day of 2s, right? So I invited the DJ, and he's like, "Can I bring a couple of friends?" I said, "Sure." And they showed up, and he showed up with Morgoth.
That's crazy.
Kevin Kenny. He showed up with Morgoth, and next thing you know, we were talking. And it was like I was the host of the party, so I was going from group to group saying, asking people how they feel and what's going on and, you know, being that guy. And so from that short amount of time of like getting to know him, we exchanged numbers. And then a month later, he hit me up and I went to his house and we started strumming and making music. And it just felt organic with him because I felt like he got me, you know? And he was a fan. So, he understood where I'm going with my stuff. He knew our music well, and he knew my vibe, so it wasn't a struggle.
It went from passion project to like a full-on band, and it sounds like Morgoth really encouraged you to move forward with it. Like, can you talk about what that encouragement was like for you? He
wanted to do a solo. He's like, let's make a Shavo solo record. Everyone else got one. I'm like, but I don't sing, you know. So how is it a solo record? And he's like, yeah, but it's all your songs, you're writing. And it's like, this is where you have freedom to write. And when he said that, it felt really good. I was like, I get a place where I could express myself and not really care. I've already done what I've done, Let's do something that only I want to care about. And I just want to, if I love it, let's drop it and not worry about what anybody thinks. That was the best part of the whole idea. And that's what made me say, okay, let's do this. But he wanted to call it Shavo and, put my name on it. And I'm just not that guy. I always like coming up with a name that has vibes of me, the spirit in there.
Not so much
soul,
put
but
your...
not the name,
Yeah.
It's like I felt like let's leave Shavo to my name.
Yeah.
And not also a band's name,
But like 7 hours after Violet is Shav.
It's Shav. So I agreed I said if we can do it in a clever way, then I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
So we had a group text and I said everyone shoot out words with Shav. So everyone at this point we already had a band members and stuff. We had because we had recorded the record and it was almost done because I did all the guitars, bass. Morgoth did all the beats and all the accompanying sounds. I helped arrange. We arranged it together, and then we brought in Alejandro and Taylor to do the vocals. And at that time, we were still thinking, they're like, you should call it Shavo. You should call it Shavo. And we started a group thread. And that's when I said, everyone should come up with a word or words with SHAV. And I just took words from different groups. And we created 7 Hours After Violet. I just wanted something avant-garde, something like off, that has a meaning, but it's not in your face. It's something to think about. It's more artsy.
What was the worst one that you saw?
You could pull it up, right? There's weird ones. There's some crazy ones.
Really?
Yeah, there was.
Or you're like, this is not going to work.
I've kind of blocked it out.
Did you?
All the crazy. But there was like strength having, I don't know, something like, it was just like
too cheesy?
There were cheesy metal ones, But it is what it is.
Strength.
You have to go through all that to find a good one,
Oh, man.
You have to weed through.
Strength having.
Sacred. I don't know. It's just I'm stuck on the S's, but I can't remember what H was. There was a lot of H's.
Havoc.
But afterwards, 7 Hours After Violet has developed into so many different meanings for me that we're in talks of doing a comic book series with 7 Hours After Violet, not for the band, but the brand.
Yeah.
And each issue, Violet meaning something completely different, and 7 hours after that, whatever that was. So Violet could be a person, a place, a thing, an occurrence, a drug,
whatever,
something, 7 hours. So it became way more than it is, and it makes more sense to me now than it ever did.
Yeah. You're such an entrepreneur.
It's fun. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't do it.
But you worked on this album for a year and a half. You ended up with not, even you mentioned it earlier, you have this album, but then you have enough music for like, another like half an album?
Well, that's already done. Yeah, that's recorded.
Oh, the second album is already recorded.
Half the second album is already.
Oh, wow.
Remember what I said? I said, it needs to be a group of songs that fit well together. So we already have about 5 to 6 songs recorded to be a part of the group that we choose from. But I'm going to go in there because I've got so much music coming out of me. We're going to go in there and we're going to have a session. I want to have more sessions. Morgoth's been trying to get me in the studio and start already, but I can't, for some reason, I can't just go one day a week and be like, okay, I'm going to drop music now and then take that hat off and be a entrepreneur when it comes to like business and then make sure this is going well, that going. It's just, I need to focus. So if we're going to make a record, I'm going to go in there 5 to 6 days a week and just be making a record and kind of cancel everything else out of my life except my family. But everything else is going to be like take a back seat and I got to focus and I got to let that part of my brain thrive.
Yeah.
It's necessary. If you want to release good stuff, if you want to make real stuff, you need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Focus.
You have to focus.
Yeah.
Or else everything's gonna.
I can't.
It's gonna fall through your hands.
It doesn't come out as good as I want it to. I won't release it if I don't love it. Like I need to love it. I'm not just doing this just to make music and make money. We're not making money. Like I'm doing it because it's fun. I'm putting it in. I'm investing in this. It's like a startup for me. It's like I already have a project that I'm happy like that we already kind of put 30 years into, and that's kind of on automatic pilot. But we're also working it. Now I got this new little side project that I'm in the same business, kind of thing. But I love it. It's just, it's like it keeps me young.
Were you? I don't think you're
I'm not old, but it keeps me younger. Yeah, I'm older than.
Were you surprised how organic and how everything just flowed?
Yes.
Were you? Okay.
I loved how it went down. And that's when it became a band. That's when I said, this is cool. I want to take this on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that you had to nix a song you did with Jonathan Davis.
Well, let me get back on that. It wasn't a song I did with him.
Or, yeah.
It was a Morgoth had a chorus he had sang for him a while back because he produces a lot of bands and he's worked with Jonathan Davis. And he's like, let's write a song around this and then play it for him and see if he digs it. And if it just didn't work out well. But at the time when I announced that, we were making that song and it was still going to be a record filled with features. Like we weren't going to get our own singer. We weren't going to have our own just a band. It was going to be an album of my music with featured vocalists on there from around the planet, you know? And so when it didn't become that, plus if we do work together, if we do bring Jonathan Davis in, I want him to work on this with us. You know what I mean? Like not just have a part that he's done 10 years ago and have that regurgitated. Mm-hmm. So that's what it was. It was nothing on him. He's amazing. It's, you know, but I think if we do it, because we're friends, like I love Jonathan. So it's like we can work together any day, any time. And we will. It's just
at this
song
moment.
actually became Paradise.
I love
the
that
song
one.
Paradise.
The first
is that.
song. This is the first
track, single.
Yeah,
that he was on the chorus of that, and it was totally different. It was the same riff, but it was a different vibe of song.
Oh, okay.
And it just, I don't think he dug it. It just, now listening back, it was premature. It was something we were wanting to do. It didn't. I shouldn't have announced it. It was my bad because I was so excited. You know, I was excited at the time.
Of course. Like, did it, when you guys worked, I don't want to say it seemed forced, but like it just wasn't ready to work on,
It wasn't what it should be. You know, when it's right, you know it's right.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't feel right to any one of us.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
that happens in art. It's like you don't, let's say you're a painter.
Yeah.
I'm sure you paint a lot of paintings. You don't release them all. You know, you keep some to yourself. And
it's okay to be excited though.
Yeah.
Just to like want to show
excited.
everybody.
If you're not excited, why do it?
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
never do nothing I'm not excited about.
Before I let you go, we were talking about you being an entrepreneur and just having that mindset of being an entrepreneur. It's like I always say, it's a whole nother level. So 22 Red, it's the cannabis and lifestyle brand.
Correct.
Like, so it just shows that your creativity goes way beyond just music. Like you were talking about a comic book. So take me into that mindset of like, what drives you to keep creating?
To be honest, I don't know. It's just always been a part of me.
Yeah.
I come up with ideas. I always have, my brain is constantly working a little too much sometimes. This morning, I woke up and I started thinking about things. And I'm like, stop. I'm in Vegas. I'm about to go do a radio interview. I'm chilling. But I had like the next 4 months was in my head. And I was thinking of songs and I was thinking of like these ideas. So I have a new bass coming. Okay. And I started looking at the prototypes of it and I started designing in my head. I'm like, bro, chill. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just something that happens. It's out of my control and I have to put it somewhere. I need to have it out. If I don't, I'll drive myself crazy because it'll be stuck in, what's the word I'm looking for? And I need a place to release things, you know, an avenue, you know? So 22 Red at the time was the place to do it. And it's still that place, like until, like I have a meeting later on with the company because I'm coming up with these new strains that we're doing, and then we're dropping in a few other states. Like we'll be coming back to Las Vegas very soon.
Awesome.
We stepped away for a while. We had a distribution issue, but now we're back and we have brand new flavors. And the way I looked at the brand, the lifestyle brand, was first of all, we cater to the artist and we cater to skateboarders. It's like, it's my identity. I grew up skateboarding in that whole LA skate scene. And I loved music, and I loved drawing, I loved art, and I loved theater, and I loved movies, and anything that's someone created, I loved, you know? Imagination is really great in my world. That's always been something that always it drives me. My imagination drives me.
Yeah.
And so 22 Red was a band. I kind of looked at it as not a brand, but like brands are bands and bands are brands, right? They just take the R out. So I even made the logo kind of like a band logo, you know? And then all the flavors, the strains, the genetics are songs. That's how I see it. And you market them like they're songs. and you give them names like theirs. And I love naming new unreleased genetics. One of the best part was creating genetics. I would think of two strains that would work well together, and then I would work with a genealogist, and I'd say, hey, cross these two and see how many babies we can come up with, and then let's taste the babies.
Yeah.
And then from the babies, let's pick the right pheno, and let's name that pheno something. I mean, how cool is that? Like, it's like creating something out of nothing.
When you're talking to that person, are they like, what is he like?
No, they get it. Yeah. They do that. That's what they're doing, but they're more into the science of it, and I'm more into the creative aspect of it, of like, I wonder what it's going to become, taste-wise, feeling-wise, look-wise. Does it have jar appeal? Is it going to smell good? The nose, what's that going to smell like? And then I give it a name, like I would name a song. I love naming songs. So it's like kind of like naming kids. And then it has that name forever.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
And that's
I think that's really cool. And then I come up, so I hired an art team. My art team for 22 Red is bigger than my business team because it's an art brand, kind of. So we have people just constantly come up with art for each strain. So each strain has a visual that goes along with it, which is really cool. I think that's just how I want to run my business. I'm not looking at others, what they do. Because, if I just wanted to make money, we would just get B-grade weed, put it in our jars and sell it.
And that would be your reputation.
It would be what we do. You know, that's what a lot of people do. Most celebrity brands, which I don't ever want to think of my brand as a celebrity brand because I'm involved, because I'm the founder. But celebrity brand is like, they just put their name on something and they don't even know what's in the jar. I know exactly what's in every jar and in every state.
So like if you were to be asked exactly the strain and like all of the little details, you'd be like,
I know majority of it. Yeah. I know, of course. You need to. I mean,
if you're going to be the face of it, or if you're going to talk about it, for sure.
I have to know. I'd be lying to you, saying this is good if I didn't know what it was.
That'd be a little embarrassing too.
Yeah, it would, but a lot of 95% of these celebrity brands have no clue.
I bet.
They just know that it's called Blue Dream or something, you know, and they have like the generic stuff in their jars and they sell it and they make. I mean, to each his own. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying I do things a little differently.
There's a difference in how you want to present your products.
Yeah, same with 7 hours. Everything needs to be a specific way to me. It has to feel certain. It has to be in my heart. If I do, it could be the greatest thing, and if I don't feel it, I'm not doing it because it's my thing. I'm not just trying to cater to anybody. I'm catering to myself. Rick Rubin says that and has taught us that, was saying, don't create for the audience, create for yourself. And if you're true to yourself, the audience will see that and feel that and will relate and will love it.
Authenticity
is number one. And that's kind of been stuck in my subconscious.
Yeah, like people can smell when you're not being authentic, you know?
The 7 Hours album is authentic to me. It's just my thing. It's just like what I wanted to, it's like me putting this thing on a platter and saying, here you go, this is what I cooked up.
Yeah.
Of course, with the help of the other guys.
Sure, you're not taking credit
I'm not saying
for
it's all
everything.
me. No. Like Morgoth, the
Yeah.
stuff that Morgoth and I did, created in there, all the instrumentals was just like.
It's true to you guys.
Let me go there now. It's very important to have a great team. And whoever's helping you, to give them the credit they deserve, because like I didn't do it on my own. Even 22 Red, I didn't do it on my own. We have a team. Like I'm good at curating good people working together to make one, who are down for one common purpose. Like everyone needs to be on the same tip, on the same wavelength of what we're doing it for. Strength in numbers, but the strength has to go towards the same thing. And ego has to step out.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's number one, yeah. So the ego part has to leave the table, has to leave the building, to make something really good and organic come out and stand out the way it does. So look out for 7 Hours. We're playing tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Thank you so much. I want to call you Chavo del Ocho from now on.
Hey, you call me whatever you want. But Shavo. You said my last name really well. Say it.
Odadjian?
There you go. She says it even with a great accent. That's wonderful.
I think that's the
right
Mexican.
Way.
That's a Mexican in me.
I think Armenians and Mexicans have a lot in common. If they want to agree with that or not, I think that there's a lot in common with our cultures, with even our language. I feel like
I've heard of that. It's
true.
Like like it's a little bit like you probably have words in Armenian that are like similar in
probably.
Spanish.
Yeah. It's not even that. It's just the fact of like the rolling of and the passion you speak with. I think that's what
I agree.
the cadence.
But yeah, I know you're busy. You're going to be performing later on tonight. Can we say it's Backstage Billiards?
Backstage Bar and Billiards.
Yep.
We're back to basics. A lot of B's. I'm thrilled. This is another thing with 7 hours that I'm reliving is playing little places again, because with System, I can't play Backstage Bar and Billiards. I can't do that. I would love to.
Yeah.
But now I'm doing it again, and I love that. The other day we played a show. I know I got to go, but
no, you don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, we played a show in Santa Barbara. We played a show in Santa Barbara with Snot, old school Snot.
Yes.
And man, it felt so wonderful to there was no barricades. We were playing at some restaurant. It was wonderful. And the kids were like, when I say kids, I mean the audience, they can touch you. Mm-hmm. They can touch your feet if they want. You know what I mean?
It's a different feel.
I missed it. I can't wait. We're going to be playing the Whiskey soon, 7 hours in LA.
Okay.
And that's something I can't wait. The Whiskey was the second place that System ever played.
Wow. So it's kind of bringing it back to
and the owner is was the old owner's son, who was this young kid at the time watching us play, and now he's the one that owns. It's like a
full circle kind of thing. That's cool.
And at the Snot show, I saw all these people from the 90s that used to come to all the shows, and they were there.
Yeah.
Just to see it. So it's I'm reliving all these cool moments that that it's hard. Most people don't have that, and I'm blessed for that. So
that's awesome.
I'm very grateful.
Very, very happy for you.
Thank you.
7 hours after Violet. Out now. Give it a listen. And also don't miss them when they're out on the road. And I'm going to be seeing you tonight.
Hell yeah, I can't wait.
There you go.
Can't wait to see you.